Jim Henderson, and meteorologist Nancy Russo. This is Louisiana's news leader, Channel 4's Eyewitness News Night Watch.
A waterspout comes off the lake and hits a Metairie neighborhood. The results are in after a union vote at Avondale shipyards. And a recall effort against a Jefferson councilman is off and running. Good evening. Hoda has the night off. Some heavy weather blasted across the metro area tonight. A waterspout apparently moved off Lake Pontchartrain and into parts of Metairie. There are reports of damage to homes and power lines are down. Bill Capo is there with this live report. Bill?
Well, John, it's been a frantic last 45 minutes. I'm in the 1400 block of Helios or Halois Street in Metairie, just off Bonneville, really at the corner of Live Oak, right by the lake. Take a look down here. This is a piece of siding from a house. We have either a tornado or a waterspout or a very, very strong wind that roared off the lake about 45 minutes ago and hit at least 2 neighborhoods. I've got the fire department reporting at least heavy damage in at least 3 houses and less damage in a lot more houses. I've got 5 houses here on the 1400 block of Halois Street with damage. Now take a look at that. This is 1425 Halois. That's Wayne Walters' house, and they were eating crabs. Mr. Walters told me just a few minutes ago they were eating crabs, enjoying dinner, and they heard noise, and by the time they could react, their roof, part of their roof was ripped off of their house. They really had no, it was gone, it was here, it was gone amazingly fast before the family had even a chance to react. Next door, his father's house was damaged. Further down the block, at least 2 other houses were damaged. The people in one other house say they were playing a game. They heard a noise that sounded like hail. They thought, boy, it's a heavy rainstorm, and then realized it was a tornado. Got down to the floor. By the time they reached the floor, the thing was gone. Fortunately, they say there was very little damage to their house. However, in the next block, another house, 1500 block of Halois Street, there is heavy damage to a house, the roof, the back part of the house, heavily damaged in the storm. Firemen report no injuries. There is another storm, another house in the, let's see, it's the 1200 block of Orion Street. It was also heavily damaged. Already, fire department people are on the scene. The power company, in fact, they pulled this sheet of metal off the top of the power pole. So it's been quite a scene. We don't know where it went from there, but a thunderstorm, heavy thunderstorm with a very high wind, possibly a tornado, moving through this area just 45 minutes ago. The good thing, despite the number of houses damaged, we have no reports of anyone being injured. Reporting live, I'm Bill Capo, Channel 4, Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Bill. Meteorologist Nancy Russo has been tracking the weather, and let's hear from her now. Nancy, do we know if this was, in fact, a waterspout?
No, we don't know as of yet, and what's going to have to happen is that a storm assessment team will go out tomorrow and look at the damage, and they will have to make that determination. Right now,
what we're told is a tornado hit this neighborhood. The place is thronged with emergency crews and onlookers and residents and relatives all trying to link up. This is a house in the 1400 block of Halois Street, just off Bonneville, very close to the lake. You can see heavy roof damage. These pieces of siding blew from across the street. Cindy Stibe happened to be walking home, and she says she saw it at the time. What did you see?
Well, we're about 2 blocks west coming home from our nightly walk, and we noticed the weather was very bad, so we started walking home. And as soon as we hit the front door, the weather came up from the lake. It was like really bad weather. We knew something was wrong. But before we had gotten to the front door, I had seen something that looked like a water spout on the water. It was very long, and it looked like it was very powerful. And I told my husband, I think that's a water spout, and he said, well, it's okay. He said, I don't think it's going to come and land. As soon as we walked to the front door and to the back, it was no more than 10 seconds, and we opened the back door, and we could see sort of like a fireworks display in the backyard. It's one of the transformers evidently were hit and torn down, and everything was lit up. And all of a sudden, we saw something big and black go across the sky, and it's obviously the roof and the house behind us right here.
And that's when you called 911?
We called 911, and she said no one had reported it yet. We called some friends and told us that they were in the path of it, but we definitely saw it, and it was definitely a tornado.
All right, Cindy Stibe, thank you very much. You can see right here in the 1400 block of Halois, we have about 5 houses damaged. Take a look at this one. This house belongs to Wayne Walters. Wayne has an amazing story. They were home at the time. He talked to me just minutes after it happened. He's very shaken. This is what he had to say.
I guess a tornado came through. We were in the kitchen eating some crabs, and About 5 seconds later, the whole roof went off. We heard a lot of noise, a lot of rain, and boom, the whole thing went off.
What did you do at that point?
Well, by the time I was heading to the door to see what happened, we were all in the breakfast area eating. I got everybody by the stairwell. We just huddled around. Within 15, 20 seconds, it was over.
Nobody's hurt.
Nobody's hurt, yeah. Thank God.
And that is the best news. The fire department and the sheriff's office both tell me no injuries. Not only were 5 houses damaged here in the 1400 block of Halois, a block down there is a lady, basically most of her roof is gone, heavy damage to the back of her house over on Orion Street. The 1200 block of Orion Street, we're told by the fire department, another house, the roof off. Still the good news, no one damaged. How powerful was this storm? Well, we haven't been able to take a shot of it yet to show you, but about a block down, there is a van with a sheet of plywood, very thin, about 1/4-inch plywood. The plywood driven lengthwise right through the metal of the van. Reporting live, I'm Bill Capo, Channel 4, Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Bill. That may be the best evidence yet, other than the eyewitnesses, that this was, in fact, a tornado.
Yes, I would say so.
Thankfully, this is big news, not because of the extent of the damage, although you feel, obviously, for the people, but just because it's so unusual.
It is fairly unusual. A lot of times we see waterspouts develop over the water, but most times they don't move on shore. And I did have a call tonight from a man who said that he has seen many waterspouts in his day, and he said he was driving down Veterans Highway, and it clearly was a waterspout. So that, in combination with the amount of calls we've received, and also you heard the eyewitnesses there, would lead us to believe that certainly it was a waterspout out there over the lake that did move on shore. We want to take a look at what's been going on radar all night.
After